Thank you ever so much. What an honor it is to be here today, joining all of my brothers and sisters as we reevaluate what we have done in these last 50 years. Unfortunately for me, I was unable to make the first march on Washington, and I never really got over that until President Obama said, "Please lead us in the invocation," and that was in January of this year. Thank you, Reverend Sharpton and others, for asking me to lend a few words to this most precious gathering. And as I look out at the crowd, I find myself saying, what are we doing today? Where have we come from? What has been accomplished, and where do we go from this point forward? I think of one theme that has been played over and over in the past few months, and it's one that brings great controversy. Stand your ground. And we can think of standing your ground in the negative, but I ask you today to flip that coin and make stand your ground a positive ring for all of us who believe in freedom and justice and equality, that we stand firm on the ground that we have already made and be sure that nothing is taken away from us, because there are efforts to turn back the clock of freedom. And I ask you today, will you allow that to happen? Take the words, stand your ground, in a positive sense. Stand your ground in terms of fighting for justice and equality. We've had wonderful speakers here, and we'll have even more who will outline those things to you, but I think you know what I mean. Take a negative and make a positive out of it. Assess where we are today. Assess where we have come from. Assess where we can go. Standing our ground for justice, for freedom, for equality. And I stand here today and I ask the question, ain't I a woman? Where are the women that need to be acknowledged in this movement for freedom and justice? We must not forget them. We must not forget Coretta Scott King. We must not forget Betty Shabazz. We must not forget all of the other women who poured in the sweat and the tears to move us further. So if you do nothing else, if you take nothing else from my heart and what I have said, stand your ground for freedom and justice, and do whatever is necessary that's legal to move this country forward, because we are on standstill today. Standstill that looks toward the back, and we must not have that. And I think of us as trees in a forest of people, trees with a network of roots that reach far and that reach deep. The strength of a tree comes from its roots. We have young people here today who were not born, who were not even thought of being born, but who have embraced the movement of justice and equality for all. Stand by them, guide them. For those of my generation, I say to you, sometimes it's necessary to step aside just a little bit reach out a hand and bring up these young leaders that we have, for we need them in America today. This is our country, and we are the trees standing tall for justice. And we realize that the deeper we place our roots in this society, the less afraid we are to say to those who represent us, you do represent us, and we will hold you accountable for all of the things, because we are the trees and we have the roots through the strength and the power to turn things around. Never become so depressed that we think we can't make it. 50 years ago, Dr. King and so many others helped to show us the way and give us the strength to move forward. I stand here today thankful to be 80 years of age and see all of those changes that have taken place, and realize that there were people like Dr. King and so many others, and yes, Medgar Evers, who gave a life and lives for justice and equality. Let us not forget that history. Let us move forward. I'm going to move off the stage because I hear the music being played. But I thank you for your time. I thank you for attention. And I am thankful to be here with you today.